So I'm not here to kill anybody's hype, nor am I here to overhype anything specifically. I say that because with any new release, especially with a new IP like New World, there's always going to be kind of a walk the line moment. We've seen it both just excel and also fall flat on its face. And with that, I want to talk to you guys today about New World. And so with that, I say, what's up, Workforce? Just last week, I covered the Letter to the Community by Scott Lane, the game's director, in which he broke down the state of the alpha, what they've learned, what is coming to the alpha. And the thing is, and with the positive and the negative, let's get the negative out of the way first, the concerns out of the way first before I talk about what really sings to me as a gamer. First and foremost, they talk about magic and more systems coming into the alpha. And the thing is that the beta kicks off next month and the release the month after that. So April and May, and we're already halfway through March. It feels a little bit like kind of by the skin of their teeth here, like just barely making it across the finish line. And obviously as a persistent game, as a game that's going to hopefully live on for a long time, it's going to evolve. They're going to always be adding stuff to it, and that's what they're trying to sell, or that's the intent of the game itself. But a launch, a first impression, especially as a games as a service, especially as history has shown us time and time again, the MVP model of games of, we'll fix it after the game launches, that should give everybody kind of pause. That should just make you sit here and say, okay, let's see what happens. Let me wait to see how the beta goes. Let me wait to see how the release goes, to see if they have massive server issues, to see if it's overwhelmed, to see if people can play. Because nobody wants to especially spend money on a game and not be able to play it the first week. I think when it comes to a single player game, a game that doesn't have massive amounts of servers that are all hoping that everything works right, I mean, it'd be amazing if this thing went smoothly. So we'll have to wait and see. When we compare it to 14 by the time Shadowbringers brought around, that's multiple expansions, lots of lessons learned. This is kind of them stepping right into this field, even powered by the cloud and Amazon. There's no guarantee here. I think that's where this could even bite people, thinking it's Amazon, they've got the money, they're going to throw tons of money, Bezos money at this. It's going to be flawless at launch. Hopefully nobody's thinking that, because while I would root for that and hope for that personally, I'm not betting on it. I'm not holding my breath on it, but I digress. So the point is that there were some definitely red flags with so many systems and features coming in kind of in the 11th hour or the 9th hour, as I said in my other video. That's kind of where the concern is. And that concern right now for me is present, but I'm masking it because there's so many things they've said that seem to really speak to me as a gamer, seem to have my excitement building for this game itself. And that's why I want to sit down and make today's video, because I want to kind of temper the hype while at the same time still talking about what it seems like they're doing right. And from the people that I've talked to, they're still under NDA and they weren't able to share specific details with me, but they're playing it and they're excited about the game. And I was like, okay, that's, like everything seems interesting on paper. And that's where we start to build from here. New World MMO sounds like it's blending both the sandbox and the theme park together into what I've been kind of saying. Like, I think the future of MMOs is the sand park. It's you have a curated experience, especially as you get into the game. There's a clear path, a clear direction that they want you to start and go. And eventually they kind of let you, let off that hook a bit. And what New World's doing is it's got that sandbox element, but they also have like missions and quests and things to do, which has that theme park element, but it's not a theme park kind of MMORPG. And this is where when they showed the stats, they said somebody got to cap by just playing the game, and they only did like 35 quests, while somebody else got to cap and they did over 700 what they called missions in this case. And so how that's balanced is it gives you, the player, the choice and the freedom to go in what direction you want to do. You want to go farm, you want to go kill monsters out in the open world and test your mettle against them. Great, go do that. You can go do that, or you can go run these quests and do these different things. All of it is seemingly working together in both a PvE and a PvP environment, which is awesome. I like how they talked about just undermining. We covered this in the factions video. If you guys check one of the top links below, we'll have our playlist for New World if you haven't got caught up and you don't know what we're talking about here. That way I'll give you all the information. And as new information has been rolling out around New World, we're going to be talking about it because I have pre-ordered. Back into the start of the video, don't pre-order. just don't. Just wait till, because when the beta comes out, you can pre-order and jump into the beta. That's going to be something they push main hardcore. And if the beta comes out and it's a flop, you can sit here and say, well, let me know when it's ready. Don't get yourself burned out. Last time I made a don't pre-order video, it was about Anthem, in which I said don't pre-order, and everybody just sit here and told me I was a garbage human being. Of course Anthem's going to be perfect. I'm not saying this is Anthem, but I'm just reminding you, I mean, at the same time, you're an adult, go be free, do whatever you want, but my recommendation is not to pre-order games, especially because this is a digital game. There is no scarcity. So, all right, back to the PvE, PvP front. When I talked about this game in the past, especially on this channel, a lot of people's like, I'm really not a PvP guy. Perfectly fine. You can still participate and play this game in a PvE setting, and that's essentially the balance they're trying to strive for. However, in games past, we've seen the PvP and the PvE struggle with one another. So ultimately, we're going to have to see where this goes. What wins, what gets the most development resources and focus overall. That's, I think, what's the most exciting. The other exciting thing is that this game is apparently going to support controller support. However, it might not be fully fleshed out right now in the alpha, and I don't know if they're going to make it in time for release or beta, but personally, that if you guys are new here, I really enjoy playing games with controllers, and I'm really excited, especially today with all kinds of news with Xbox and their new controller coming out and down the pipe. So back to the core aspects of the game. I lost my notes. So we covered the faction information. I ended up doing they had a little like personality test to say what faction you are. And I ended up getting the Covenant. So you have the Covenant, the Syndicate, and the Marauders. We ended up running a poll. Marauders definitely came in last. As it relates to work to game and this community, we'll probably put some information out. Like especially if we can play multiple characters and each character can be part of a faction. Obviously, I think that's going to how it's structured. But as far as the forming a company and having kind of our community aspect within New World, stay tuned for information on that. Personally, I'm still feeling Syndicate. However, at the end of the day, like if we can do all three and have a company in each, then I think that will probably be what we end up going with. But as details emerge, stay tuned to the channel here for that. But you have a 3-faction system that we just talked about. But there's also kind of like a hidden 4th faction, which is the Corrupted. This is the NPC. This is the game. This is Amazon themselves trying to maybe keep the world in somewhat of a balance, giving players challenge both in the PvE sense and also defending their held lands. And I think for one, that sandbox element, that constant struggle for survival and domination and gaining land and growing and wealth and strength, and that kind of progression is a dynamic progression. I've been playing Warhammer Online and really loving it, but it still you feel the sense of the 2-faction system ultimately leaning in one direction or the other. That can happen obviously in a 3-faction system where like everybody just kind of picks one and that's the winning faction and they're going to win and control. And that's why having that 4th faction outside of kind of the player agency side of it is going to be interesting. The game's also promising lots of player agency. Not know any specific class structure that you play. You can kind of build it out. And that's again tying back into the concern with Magic as somebody who loves casting, but then it's just now getting added. How's that going to ultimately balance with the game? That seems so like it should have been done a year ago. But, they did make some changes based off of player feedback and things like that. And we've covered it here in which that this is not a full loot open world PvP game anymore. And, Scott said that is not coming back, in fact. So, 4 factions. Amazon is they're ready. They're shooting for 1,000 players on a server to start. And that's impressive. They want to grow it to 10,000. And that's insane. That's where when I've tweeted out talking about how like our definition and understanding of what an MMO is about to change, especially as like the servers and the technology just improves. Imagine going from a 1,000 to a 5,000 to a 10,000 player environment and having systems powerful enough to render those players. Obviously, gameplay will be key, right? Because you can put 10,000 people in a room and it's not fun. Anyway, on that note, there's a lot of other previews that people have been writing up, talking about their experience with the game, talking about their concerns with the game. It's a new game. It's a new IP. Hopefully, 2020 isn't a repeat of 2019 with some of these new launches. But we'll have to wait and see. I know that, we'll be testing it out. We'll be letting you know our opinions of it in the coming weeks. And yeah, I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to also your thoughts So let me know in the comments below. Hit us up on Discord. We don't have a specific role for New World, but yet we're going to be posting in different chat channels and things like that. But guys, let me know if you have any questions. And as news comes out, seems like each week they've got a news post. They're kind of slowly feeding that information out to us. We'll be covering it here and also on Ginger Prime. So anyway, for Work to Game, my name is Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon. Take care.